My name is Stephen Carleton. I work with Bill Prankard and the Bill Prankard Evangelistic Association. I live in Ottawa, Canada. My wife and I, we were in a bit of a faith season. The Lord was stretching us and going through quite a number of different transitions. We were helping Bill travel from one place to another, just driving around and that. On this trip, there was an 11-year-old boy in a community in Nunavut, Canada, called Cape Dorset. 11-year-old boy had committed suicide. And I mean, myself being half Inuit, half Scottish, I've always been very aware of the suicide rates and you know, just how prevalent it's been in many different communities. But this one in particular struck a chord in Bill. And when we got word of this 11-year-old boy, Bill said, either we stop preaching that God is big and with God all things are possible, or we do something about it. At that moment, he suggested that my wife and I come on full-time with the ministry and come up with a solution on how to battle suicide. And so we, in each of the communities that we work in, we hold youth conferences, and where we, you know, in many cases get hundreds of young people out, and many of them rededicate their lives to the Lord. And in the best case scenarios, teenagers encounter Holy Spirit and really, you know, are quite touched there. The stats on Inuit youth abuse, particularly sexual abuse, is something like 70% of the population right now, which is more than rampant. You know, Bill often says that, you know, if he were to travel the way I do and to speak at high schools and you know, tell them that there's hope in Jesus, they really wouldn't understand. For one, he's a little older. Two, you know, he doesn't have the same cultural connection. But really, you know, Bill's never gone through what these teenagers have gone through. I have. You know, I remember what it was like being filled with anger and being filled with this almost burning desire to harm the man who'd abused me. And you know, I was 16 when I was abused, and my life was in hot pursuit of God. You know, I was in grade 10, going to grade 11. It rocked me. School, my grades dropped, and my relationship with the Lord changed. I was, you know, just I wasn't there really. So yeah, got into drinking and partying and was really trying to cope with what had happened. And I turned to the Lord one day. I was afraid of becoming an alcoholic because of my dependency on alcohol to fill, or just to numb the pain, really. Said to the Lord one day, Holy Spirit, if you fill me with your love again, if you heal all of the pain I'm feeling, I'll forgive this man. There wound up being a Christian counselor at Bill Prankard's church in Ottawa at the time, and that was 2009. Honestly, you know, I can say that just a few months of spending time with this counselor, some very good relationships, friendships I had at the time and still do today, and a lot of time with Holy Spirit. A few months after that, I felt the freedom to forgive this man and to release him to the Lord. And I can remember the time when I prayed for this man. And I said, Jesus, I pray he know you the same way I do. Because, you know, I can't imagine the type of torment someone like that is going through. But, yeah, I mean, it was life-changing. And what it means right now, I mean, because that was amazing, the Lord healing me. But, you know, what we're doing now is just, it's unbelievable to be able to say that to 70% of the population in Nunavut, of Inuit teenagers, which unfortunately is tens of thousands of teenagers, 70% of them, I can turn to them and say, I've gone through almost identically what you've gone through. But there's redemption and there's healing in the Lord when you allow Him to move on that particular area. I can say that without any doubt in my mind that God can heal sexual abuse or traumatic events for that matter. And we're seeing it happen now. And you know, KCM partners need to understand that there is an entire generation of Inuit or Eskimos, as some might know us, an entire generation of Eskimos in Canada's Arctic right now that are hearing that there is hope in the midst of some real torment. And KCM partners are enabling us, empowering us to do that. because of our strong partnership.